This next ship, if it loaded correctly, is from the Watcher, is from Gilboard, and the mod is called the Watcher. And there it is. It's an eyeball. Ah, okay. This is the stealth. Huh. Oh, that's a little... It's supposed to be like a little glare in the thing or something. This also happens to you when messaging ran just today. Really? I was able to respond to your messages, Mr. Keese. I didn't change any of my settings. Okay, I don't know. I might have to look into this. I'm receiving y'all's messages, but I can't respond to Communist Mountain's messages, and I don't know why. Maybe Twitch did something recently with the messaging system. I don't know. All right, well, let's see what the Watcher's all about. He who always watches, Hole 20, Cloak Type A. This is a weird color. It's like a kind of a camouflage green because it's a stealth ship or something. What do we got? We got a laser charger, a small bomb, a mini beam, shields, level 3 cloaking, long range scanners, stealth weapons. We see all. Stealth weapons and we see all. Army green, huh? Okay. Okay, interesting. 3 weapon power. This is going to be a very strong ship, I can tell. Do we have Gibbs? Full rebellion! It just turns it red. Oh no, I got the red eye. Oh no, I got the red eye. Let's see. It's what happens if somebody takes a picture and you have a demon inside of you. You have red eyes. Okay, very nice, very nice. I like how it doesn't move. Oh. Okay, we have to be very careful. Ships like this where you move through invisible space, if that happens while you're jumping, I think it can break. I can, what does it do? I think it, makes your crew stuck. Have to be very careful. Speed run, maybe. Maybe I can actually get a 4th ship in if this run is really fast. Alright, so this ship, for those who don't recognize it, look at the icon for cloaking and then look at the shape of our ship, and you might notice some similarities. Oh, the shield image is pretty cool. I like that shield image. Well, 75% dodge is a failed dodge to start the run. Gotta love that. The room on the left is not accessible by my crew. Interesting. It's an interesting mechanic choice. Are you hoping they board me and get stuck in there? We don't have doors to... I guess that's the downside of the ship is we don't have doors to control fires and stuff. Hopefully we can buy them. Oh my god, first jump free Vulcan. Okay, let us start. Oh my gosh, that means we have a Vulcan and stealth weapons. Do I have to meme a Vulcan run? Oh, I was supposed to rename you the pilot. I forgot. I think I might have to use the Vulcan for the memes on this. Actually, I don't want Engie to be the pilot, so let's do this. Gilboard, you are a human. A filthy, useless, amazing, but useless human. I might want to keep my small bomb on my bar then to kill the crew in that room, yeah. Did anyone ever get into the game Dishonored? I'm sure somebody did. I didn't. I'm gonna have to think about the Vulcan. I'm gonna have to think about it. So I will say, the only time I would call stealth Vulcan decent is if you get like pre-igniter and stealth weapons. And then it's like it gets rid of a lot of the downsides, but it's such a huge investment. But we did kind of start with that on this build, so maybe. I kind of want to skip this first store to get my shields up. You only gave me 20 HP. You are the useless humans that designed this useless ship. I think I'm going to skip this first store to get second shield. Safe fight, but nothing I can train. Yeah, we start with Cloaking 3 and Stealth Weapons. I don't think we're gonna have a better chance to ever use a Vulcan, that's for sure. And they gave me a Vulcan first reward. It feels like a sign. It feels like a sign that I might have to use the Vulcan. We also have really good weapons to go with the Vulcan, to be honest. Better ship, the better rewards as usual. That seems to be the case. Or the more OP the ship starts, the more OP the game makes you quicker. Okay. Free engine hack. Gotta love it. Wow. Okay, he dodged our first double volley. Our cloaking image is weird. It just turns... It turns the ship white. We're cloaked so that you can see us better. What? We are white while cloaked to give you a better chance to see us. Tried to make the ship not as OP as your other ones. It's a grayscale, huh? Okay. Getting a little bit of extra weapon training by killing him slowly. Killing him softly with this song. Killing him softly with this song. Killing him softly. Whoops. Could have done one more shot. With this song. Okay, second store. But I just want to get second shields. We can be safe for some fights to get some training. I'm going to continue to skip the store, so 6, 5, 4, 2. Good dive for the quest. It's blinding the enemy. There it is. Love the shields. Yeah. What was the last one of yours? It was a hacking ship with this circle around it. This is the all-seeing third eye right here. I think I might dive Sector 1. I mean, level 3 cloaking. Stealth weapons. When am I going to get a better chance to dive Sector 1? Okay, good. Google Slides shields are the best. You made the shields using Google Slides, okay. Which is apparently you told me this before, like a PowerPoint thing or something, right? So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dive. Something like that. Google Slides, everyone's first image editing software. Not me, mine's Microsoft Paint. Ooh, this is a decent, I was gonna say decent training fight, but Ion makes it a little scary. Mine is MS Paint. I still use it for my stream emote things and editing backgrounds and stuff. Every image you have made was with Google Slides, at least for FTL modding. You gotta go now. Hope I have fun. Alright, Gilboard. I'll have this up on the YouTube if you want to watch it later. I'm interested to see if I click over here. I can move here but can't get over here. This room is weird. I guess you put it here just for balance, so that we have nice feng shui or whatever that word is. GIMP was the first for you after Photoshop moved to description model, huh? Okay. I'll buy Mantis, a cheap Mantis. Kind of, yeah. Put you on, I don't have doors, so put you on shields, I guess. GIMP squad, GIMP, hell yeah. I feel like I need to learn to use GIMP. That explains the streak highlight thumbnails. Yep, they're all MS Paint. If you wonder why they're bad. Okay, time to train. We can train all the things here. But I did the second and third thumbnails that I made, I used an online software that somebody recommended. It was way better. So my third one, I kind of stopped making the thumbnails after the third one, and nobody was watching those edited videos anyway. But the third one, I feel like I was finally getting better at it. Yeah, weapons are going to get trained super fast here. How much cross-training am I willing to put in here? I don't care about the Mantis training so much, so I'm going to get... I think I'm going to cross-train the NG and the 2 humans on everything but piloting is what I'm going to do here. Yeah. So you're there, you're there, you're there, and you're there. And we'll do just this for cross-training. You do use GIMP for resizing, Gilboard says. Nice, nice. GIMP is basically like Photoshop 8 or 9. Adobe just kept adding smart tools for professionals. Yeah. It's like Photoshop, but free and open source, which is communist. Okay. I mean, free and open source sounds good to me. That's why I love Audacity for audio editing. I did purchase a better one for stuff that for better tools. What is it called? I forget what it's called. But I still love Audacity for the open source and the freeness of it. Nobody's suggesting paint.net, huh? I don't know. Not sure if I'm familiar with that. Okay. Mantis is gourmet. Alright, I'll get him in a second. After this fight, I'll try to remember to do that. I'll be honest, chat. Lately, I've been having difficulty being, what's the word? Motivated for streaming, and I've been thinking about looking into audio engineering and music production as a job. And there's a here, let me get you the rename here. There's a place in Dallas that's like a audio engineering music production studio school, and the tuition is like $14,000 or something, and I'm like, that's expensive, but I might have to look into trying to do that if I'm burning out on the streaming thing that I've been doing for like 7-8 years now. I'd be a great audio engineer. It's been something I've thought about a couple times in the recent past, and with my loss of motivation for streaming, sometimes I think about other things. And I've talked before where I've thought about, if I wasn't streaming, what would I look into doing? And that is one of the things I've looked into doing. Is that affordable by American standards? Well, it's cheaper than going to a university. If I were to actually do something like that, I've actually talked to my parents about that before. And my dad loves audio stuff. And he's like, if you decide to do that, we will pay for it. Or they said they'll help me pay for it or something. So it's something I'm thinking about after this next Christmas season. If I am totally losing my streaming motivation, I might look into, after this next Christmas, taking some classes for that. So, no, $14,000 for the entire course. It's not for a semester, it's not for a year, it's for the course, I think, is what I saw. So, I know. My thinking is I wouldn't stop streaming if I do that, but I would probably stream less while I do this schooling and see if what I might want to do is actually see if they like have a tour of the studio and see this is what the day-to-day is like if you get into music production and audio engineering. And like I might want to like talk to the people there and see if it's something that I'd really want to pursue or something. How would you stay in contact with me? I would probably still stream. I just wouldn't do it full time anymore. Is probably what I think is what I do. This is still, you know, this isn't like something I'm planning on instantly doing. It's just something I'm thinking about right now. Audio engineering is a great side gig and pretty easy, cheap to get into nowadays. Well, I do it pretty much as an amateur side thing right now. Like for my Christmas caroling gig, I do all of our recording and audio editing. Like I do all that stuff, and I enjoy it. It can be a little tedious, but it's probably less tedious when you have formal training and know what you're doing, which I currently don't. Oh damn, cloaking wore off. Don't hit my piloting.
Fuck
okay,
you,
that's fine.
Fucking shitty game.
I'll be honest, part of the reason I've been feeling burnt out lately is it's just FTL, honestly.
Fuck you, FTL.
FTL is making it hard for me to stay motivated to stream because it's so frustrating doing hard mode no pause streaking and always being angry all the time. And then you might say, well, then you shouldn't do hard mode no pause. And then I say, if I want to afford my rent, I have to have enough viewers, and hard mode no pause is the only thing where I have enough viewers. So it's like this whole catch-22 that's really killing my motivation for streaming lately. So that's why I've been considering other options. I'm also tired of doing something that makes little to no money, which is, you know, streaming in general. So level up my streaming audio? I could, for sure. Since they have some streamer friends pay you to help level up theirs. Yeah. There's a lot of things I've been thinking about if I wanted to get into audio engineering that would open up doors for me to do. Could just change what I do streaming. I could maybe do audio engineering or music production on stream like some people do on Twitch, or branch out and be an audio engineer for other streamers or other content creators, or a lot of the musicians I know become their guy who helps them do their recordings. Like there's a lot of stuff that to me sounds really cool that would also maybe give me an extra side gig so I don't have to stream hard mode no pause FTL to, you know, barely scrape by a living. We show up at random residences and sing carols? No, not at random residences. We get paid by companies, by rich people who are throwing Christmas parties, by malls and stores. We get paid by people to come and Christmas carol for them. We are a professional Christmas caroling group.
FTL,
check us out on Google.
I don't know why you don't want to have
Uptown Carolers. We also even do virtual caroling, kind of like I did on the stream last year. We occasionally will do virtual caroling for people who do a lot of their stuff online and want to spread the Christmas cheer for their Christmas party or whatever. Their online Christmas meeting, will come in and sing for them on Zoom. It's pretty crazy. Could bring music to my streams. It'd be interesting because DMCA makes music on streams a hard thing to do. But if I took a course that's about audio engineering and music production, maybe I would learn more or come up with my own original stuff or something. I don't know. Again, this is all kind of in infant stages, and I'm telling you all because, you know, I don't want to blindside everybody and say, by the way, I'm not streaming anymore. I don't plan on doing that, but I am thinking of pursuing another career. Maybe it's my midlife crisis at 43, but lately the FTL Hard No Pause has been killing my streaming motivation. Yeah, hopefully the school has some connections for when you complete the course. Well, that's the cool thing. The place that I found that I've been looking at is like this, and there's probably multiple ways you can get into schooling for music production and audio engineering. The one that I've been looking at is a place that I think that's based out of California, but I think they run a program through many studios around probably the country, and they have a bunch in Dallas. And it's like a course they put together for different, pursuits. And the whole idea is work with working professionals while learning, all schools and things probably talk up what they're doing, but it's like work with actual industry leaders while you learn about the music production industry. And that sounds really cool to me. I don't know if in practice it is that well connected, but it's part of the reason why I kind of want to reach out and like talk to the people at the studio or the school and see if it would be something I'd want to pursue. Who meets on Zoom for Christmas? A lot of companies out there do. Well, they don't meet just for Christmas, but all of their meetings are on Zoom. Probably a lot of companies after COVID started allowing their employees to work remotely, and so they just have meetings all the time. I bet you, thank you for the prime sub, Jerf Derf. I bet you a lot of people in chat right now work remotely, and that's why they're able to watch Twitch while they're working. And they have Zoom meetings many times a week. And that's we do gigs for that. That started during COVID when we were trying to find gigs. And the guy who runs our group is pretty creative and stuff, and we've done a lot of virtual gigs over Zoom meetings. Any primers? Oh yeah, it's September. Getting familiar with the software helps remove the TDM. Audacity is great for tracking. Stepping up something like Reaper or Ableton is game changer for workflow. I use Reaper, Quattroiser, and the website I've been looking at is I think they use Ableton there. So I have some vague knowledge about. I have like a working amateur's idea or understanding of DAWs. Is that what they're called? Digital audio workstations or workplaces, whatever they're called. I have like a working amateur's understanding because I've used Pro Tools back when I had like a free version, and then I started using Reaper because a friend of mine told me about it and it seemed to work a lot better. Yeah, it's basically a trade school for audio engineering, yeah. It wouldn't be like I'm going back to college. It would be like a trade school for audio engineering. And part of the reason it appeals so much to me is I feel like a lot of what I learned in music school I can get even more use out of because I learned some acoustic science and stuff back when I was learning the science of the voice. I never really learned it for microphone technology and stuff, but it's something I'm very interested in, so I've been very seriously considering trying to look into doing something that could run the sound system for a church. Yeah, not my first choice, but there probably are a lot of positions for that. That's where you're currently trying to get into some proper board time. Nice. Highly recommend Ableton. It's fairly cheap and is amazingly powerful. How does that compare to Reaper? Because I use Reaper. You're a big fan of the shield that literally adds more rings to the more charges it has. Did it do that? Well, that's not really adding more rings. It's just making the ring brighter, which is what normal shields do in FTL. Although, it does add more rings when you have no shields to one shield. That might be what you noticed, Zach Dog. It did. A ring did go away when they shot one shield and it went down. That's probably what you saw, at least. Okay, backup battery, mind control. I think I might eventually want to use... We're definitely going cloaking mind control. If I sold Vulcan, I could get it right now, but I really want to meme it up with Vulcan. So let's get backup battery, we'll get mind control later. So yes, full disclosure, chat. Depending on how things go in the next 4 or 5 months, I might be considering cutting back on streaming to pursue something like that. Also, no offense to people who think streaming is the greatest career ever. When I think of my title as a content creator versus if I had the title of music producer or audio engineer, one of those sounds way more impressive to me. And it might be my background in musicianship that is leading me towards thinking that, but, you know. Rand the audio, dude. You know it. You know it. Can you cloak and remove the rooms from view? Maybe? I don't think cloaking removes the rooms from view. I think that only happens when you have no crew on your ship. Or have no sensors. Yeah, I don't think we can remove... Although there's something weird with cloak image. Sometimes when you don't add a cloak image, it just kind of fades everything away in kind of a weird way. But, okay, what is my next goal? Is it weapon upgrade so I can use the Vulcan? This weapon system going into Sector 3 is actually fine with hacking support. I should do it. Maybe I could brag to all the ladies about my new title. That might be a weird thing, but I also feel like I would be more confident in my social interactions if every time somebody asks, what do you do? I have to say, you're not going to believe this, but I play video games for a living. The last date I went on with a girl that, you know, I connected through with a dating app, she believed what I did, but didn't understand it. She was like, that's a thing? You can make a living doing that? And I'm like, nah, well, yeah, I don't make a lot of money, but yes, I literally stream playing video games 5 days a week. Really? That's real? That's a thing? And I get that almost every time I tell somebody that I'm a streamer. Almost every time. I guess I don't hang out with, you know... I don't hang out with kids who think streaming is the best job ever, so they're the only ones who believe it and want to have that job, I guess. My nieces think it's the best thing ever. Come to think of it, full-time streamer is such a new kind of occupation. We really don't have a firm idea how the career is even supposed to end. Yeah. Look at the ship from the outside. I don't know what you're telling me. No, Steel Mage. I'm looking at the ship. I'm cloaked. I don't know what looking it up from the outside means. You don't have a lot of experience with Reaper. From what you understand, it's comparable to Ableton mechanically. Ableton has a huge library of built-in instruments and devices. It's hard to beat at the price. Ah, okay. Well, I think I spent like 60 to 80 bucks to buy the version of Reaper that I have. I think there are a lot of plugins you have to reach out and get to add some more tools. So maybe there's like built-in library of plugins and things that Ableton has that maybe Reaper and others don't have. I will say when I use Pro Tools, one of the reasons I kind of stopped using Pro Tools is it's really powerful, but like a lot of other... Who runs Pro Tools in Sibelius? Avid? Like a lot of other Avid stuff, it's kind of like Apple, where they like overprice a lot of the tools. They're really good tools, but they're all super overpriced. Never mind, you're confused. Keep up the good work. All right, no worries. No worries. When I used Pro Tools back in the day, a free version, if I wanted to get a really nice reverb, I had to either mess with a lot of settings or pay a bunch of money to get a nice reverb plugin, I think they're called. All right, freeboarding. I thought I had Heal Bay, actually. I don't actually have Heal Bay. Oh, I have another mantis, actually. You go heal. I am the role model of your youth. Do not hang out with me outside of work. True, true. And my nieces aren't allowed to watch my stream because of how much I curse. Although, from what I understand of the streams they do watch when their mom doesn't know about it, I'm pretty sure they watch streamers who curse anyway. So, let's see here. There's mind control and there's doors. Get mind control, but not that, and doors. We get a couple fuel. Okay. My worry as I think about trying to get into the audio engineering and music production scene is I would worry it'd be kind of like my singing stuff where it's super inconsistent anyway, but...
Oh, come on,
nice.
game! Come on!
If it's just like adding more gigs, it might actually be a good thing. So I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about. It is something I'm thinking about. You'd watch a music production stream? I think I did a music arranging stream once or twice. And, people who aren't into music think they'd watch that kind of stuff, and then they see what it is, and then they know that they have no knowledge about it, and then they probably wouldn't watch it. Now, music production, or if I'm working with audio stuff, that might be more interesting. But I've streamed myself, I think once, working on like a Christmas Carol arrangement. If you don't know music, it wouldn't be very interesting. Music production would probably be more interesting, though. At least Rand isn't going to show kids gambling ads. Half the streamers on Twitch do that. Okay. Yeah, no plans there. You do have one friend going in the audio engineering production. You'll have to ask her about it. Yeah. My guess is it's like... That's one reason why I kind of want to like talk and interview to the school, which would be, I think, a studio. My guess is it'd be something like you don't work a 9 to 5 at the studio. You go in anytime you have a gig, which a gig would be some people wanting to record something. And I don't know how consistently that happens in the recording industry. I don't know if you're like in there every day. Probably depends on how popular you are and how successful your studio is. So, but I'd be interested in what that career day-to-day looks like. Just live stream Rand POV, yes. Okay, you are running. So I'm gonna hack your piloting so you can't dodge. We did one shot that, nice. Beautiful. I feel like Pro Tools is a trap for new artists. It's the industry standard for good reason. It's almost too powerful when you're starting out. Ableton has always hit a happy medium, ground control versus simplicity. Yeah, that sounds like what I've found in Reaper. Reaper, I use Pro Tools, and then I use Audacity, and I kind of use a mix of two. I still, when I use Reaper, get the dry audio and Audacity just because I know it better, and then I do some initial editing in it, and then I export it all to Reaper so I can add reverb and mix it together and plug in different takes to fix mistakes and things like that. So again, I have kind of a working amateur knowledge of audio engineering, but I'd love to get formal training on it and see if that's like a career I could pursue. You watched an audio production stream from a friend. It was interesting, mostly because he was explaining his process. He did it, yeah. There's a guy who either I rated or rated me at one point who did music production streams. And I watched it for a bit. And it was pretty cool. for me, as an amateur, watching a guy who's more professional doing it. But that doesn't seem like something you could just do all the time, it feels like. There's a reloader I could have maybe got for the Vulcan. Am I really going to go in on the Vulcan? I'm still thinking about it. Still thinking about it. This is... I am forced to go through here if I want to get all the jumps I want to get. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so I am committing to boarding with no reward right here. What's up, Viper? A lot of creative works are like that in reality. You're from an art background. Most of the things you did as a designer were actually super boring and tedious when seen in person. Yeah, like it's... I feel like a lot of people think music or art is what those time-lapse videos are that you see of somebody painting a house in time-lapse. But I bet you the day-to-day looks nothing like that. I bet you the day-to-day is calling people on the phone to schedule their appointment and then getting all your paints ready. Like, it's... I feel like there's a skewed view of a lot of what artists do. Like, as a singer, I do way more practicing than I do performing. And you know what's not super fun to watch? Somebody practice something for an hour or two. So, you know, for a 2-hour performance, there's probably been 20 to 30 hours of rehearsal, give or take, depending on the kind of performance that you're doing. So, streaming, there's a reason I don't stream music stuff very much, and that reason is the grind and the day-to-day is not nearly as interesting as the performance. You were streaming some TFT this weekend. You got a new viewer for a while, and he asked if you ever did streamings making art, which was quite unusual. That's cool. So true. Game design is 5% fun decisions, 50% programming decisions, 45% fixing said programming. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure every creative thing is like that. I'm sure that's just every creative endeavor. It's 5% cool stuff that you can show people, 95% tedious work in the background. It's just life. Maybe I want to skip this store. We're already committed to it. Let's check it out. Do I ever incorporate percussion into my Christmas carols? The only percussion we incorporate is when we do beatboxing for some of our goofy songs. Well, that's a bit of a lie. I have Jingle Bells. If you consider Jingle Bells percussion, Jingle Bells is what makes some Christmas songs sound like Christmas, so yes. If you consider Jingle Bells, then yes. If you don't consider Jingle Bells, the only percussion is really when we do Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, where we do a rap break, and I beatbox during that. And when we do Little Drummer Boy, we mime drums. But I don't know if you can really call that percussion. So it's like fake. It's air percussion, like air guitar. It's not all that gold-plated. What are you talking about? You're talking about audio engineering. You learned your training in church, step behind the board, learn to do screen and moving lights directing. Your day-to-day 9 to 5 was in the studio doing radio, recording interviews, micing people poorly, and wearing headphones all of your working career. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of tediousness to it. That's why I'm not... That's kind of what I want to see what the day-to-day is. And I feel like it also depends on if you're getting into audio engineering, what... I meant to cloak there, but my power wasn't in there. What... genre you're in. And it depends on it, like what your studio does. And I've done a lot of church stuff in the past. I mean, I have a church job every week that I still do, but I've never done the audio engineering side of it, and that I bet would be tedious and boring. So that's why I'm still up in the air. Like, it could be something that I wouldn't find that interesting if the day-to-day is super just being on a board for 6 hours at a church or a business luncheon or something. Miming drums. Yes, that's doing this. Miming drums. Here, I'll give you an example in a second. The men's part of a cappella arrangements of Little Drummer Boy is this. Drum, 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 drum. Then the women sing, come, they told me, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. So the men are just going prum, prum, prum the whole time. And so we mime drums when we do that. That's what I mean by miming drums. Does Austin have more opportunities to meet with audio engineers? Maybe. But I bet you Dallas is not too far behind. Austin is known for Austin... What is it called? Austin City Limits, whatever. It's a lot of pop stuff. Dallas has a lot of classical and other type of stuff. But there's a pretty active, like with Deep Ellum, there's like a pretty active popular scene in Dallas-Fort Worth as well. Beatboxing is a percussive instrument. There you go. If you're wondering why you're a Mac guy, because of your job. The other side of life was graphic design. Mostly Macs are the workhorse. That's what I have heard, and Pro Tools and Macs, I think, are industry standard from what I understand. So I might have to learn Mac if I do go into this. I could never go to a concert and not noticing if the audio mixing was good or not. Well, joke's on you, Gunther. The only concerts I ever go to are the ones I'm singing in. And very infrequently do I even hear the audio mix when I'm performing. So that I'm not too worried about. It's not something that's at the top of my worry list, to be honest. I already can't not judge people singing at any concert I go to because of my master's degree in vocal performance. So I'm kind of used to having a hard time not judging things about art that I have knowledge about. So that's just something I'm kind of used to. If you ever want to ruin the mystique about something, study it, learn about it. And, you know, when people say things like, oh, you're a musician, I bet you get so much fulfillment out of life. I do, but it's not like I just hear music and all of a sudden have an out-of-body experience like people who don't study music do. Because of my study of music, I analyze it. I'm a very logical, analytical person, so my training makes me go, oh, well, I don't like this about this. I do like this about this. That's a weird chord choice. There's a song that's been playing on the radio station I listen to a lot. It's a pop song, and he has this sustained note at the last last minute of the song that the chord keeps changing underneath it, and it drives me crazy, and I have to turn down my radio at the end of that song because that sustained note ruins the entire chord progression underneath it for the rest of the song. And I'm just like, why would this artist make this choice? And so sometimes having knowledge ruins your experience about certain subjects. You know what makes a job a lot more interesting? The paycheck. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If I were to pursue this audio engineering thing, it wouldn't be just because I'm looking for glamour. It'd because, you know, I'd like to make more money than my streaming has been making me over the last 8 years of barely paying rent for a long time. And San Antonio, if you went to the metal scene, it was inescapable when you started engineering there, huh? I definitely do not want to get in the metal scene, that's for sure. That sounds the opposite of what I'd be interested in. Rand, real MVP, master vocal performance. And it's a little bit backwards, but yeah, totally. Mime drumming is good for mystique. I don't know what that means. Happens to everyone. The more specialized you are in a subject, the more you notice the flaws. That is 100% true. So I have all my systems done. Am I going to invest into Vulcan anytime soon? What I might do is just like swap into it right before the boss, because I feel like that would be where it's the best. Maybe. Not even sure if it will be good on the boss. That quest is completely terrible location. What do I want from a store? If I get like a halberd, I might not go Vulcan. If I get like S tier weapons. Does this mean don't be good at anything and keep the mystique alive and everything? No. Just if you... how do I say this? How do I say this? Be prepared when you learn something new. If you take lessons, if you get really good at something, that some of your illusions might be shattered. That sounds kind of dark, I guess. But, be prepared that the more you know about something, the less... I don't know. So there's this thing, I read a book called Music, the Brain, and Ecstasy. Years and years and years ago I read this book. It's by a guy, I forget his name, Daniel Dennett? I'm not sure if it's him. A guy who's a pretty well-known neuropsychologist, I think it is. And he talks about music as a way that causes literal brain chemistry that causes ecstasy. Like, you hear a song and you get goosebumps, or you get actual pleasure from. Now, the less you know about music, the more certain songs may cause that. For me, there's very little that gives that sensation. But listening to Luciano Pavarotti singing Che gelida manina and singing a high C in La Boheme gives me that. But there's very little pop music that gives me that. No, Daniel Dennett was a philosopher, yeah. It was just one of those science pop popularizer writers, and I forget his name. But he wrote a couple books like that. And I forget the one, but the book is called Music, the Brain, and Ecstasy. You can look it up. It's, I'm sure, on Amazon. I have it on my bookshelf. And he talks about that. And I have a feeling the more experienced you are, or the more training you have in music, the more picky your brain will be about what gives you that truly high ecstasy, existential pleasure feeling from listening to music. You love metal, but it's a nightmare to produce well. Yeah, I don't even like metal, so I wouldn't even want to try. My hope, if I got into music production, would be that I could do some classical stuff, since that's where I live. That's what I do. But I would love to get into the indie pop or a cappella vocal scene. That would be my ideal. That sounds like that might be very niche and hard to get into, so it might be impossible. And I'd probably have to like move to LA if I want to do something like that. But those are the genres I'm super interested in when it comes to popular music, is like indie pop and a cappella vocal. 50 Cent has some great music. Okay, cool. Wow, those are some long posts, Archangel. Give me a second before I read the wall of text. Some long walls of texts. Yeah, I didn't need the shields. Beautiful. Alright, sometimes at big events, set up stage building, directing the speakers, subwoofers before events, then rehearsal, and then keeping everything working perfect. Then after the show, breakdown, doing this for a week, got you sick every time because you would get 3 hours of sleep per day, and the rest of the time you'd drink a lot of coffee and immune boosters to keep working. Yeah, I know that this setup is one of the big, like, if you're an audio engineer, you are the guy who's there before the show a bunch of hours, and the guy there is after the show a bunch of hours. So depending on the gig, I bet you that could be kind of terrible. I'll be honest, my goal being an audio engineer wouldn't be to do live shows, it'd be to do studio work. And again, that might be harder to get into because it's very niche, or you have to be really successful, or you got to grind a bunch of live shows before you can be the studio technician or something. I'm not interested in doing live shows. I'm interested in the studio work. That to me is what's most interesting. Rand cannot read good. Well, I just don't like walls of text when I'm trying to have conversations, so. Okay, this guy's running. Let's hack shields here. Should pull the pilot. You're deglazing industry. Why you're mostly done with that industry. Okay. Did you ever do studio work? Because it sounds like you only did live recording stuff. That's part of why you moved to New York. New York, you hate most things about it, but the music scene is primo no matter the genre you want to get into. Maybe if you're into classical music, you would love Acid Arab. I don't know what that is. Yeah, when I talk about audio engineering and music production, I am way less interested in live recording and live concert stuff, and way more interested in studio recording stuff. Your 9 to 5 was in a studio doing radio every day. Okay. Then that should not have involved a lot of what you just described, from my understanding. I know there is a lot of, like, maybe, I mean, why are you in a studio from 9 to 5 and then also moving equipment? Sounds like you're talking about two very different parts of the. Damn it, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, we did hit it once. You said that before. Reading is hard. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'm just gonna not read your messages if you're gonna tell me. Okay. How do we get on this topic? Because I said I'm thinking about getting into auto engineering. That's why. Hacking the station. Archangel, give me a break. I'm having like 10 different conversations with 10 different people. Please give me a break. Please give me a break. Reading is hard. You try streaming for 30 hours a week and try to keep all these conversations straight. Sorry. Okay. Also, my phone is now blowing up because of gig stuff. Great. Well, I will say, even if audio engineering is not that glamorous as you're describing, I bet you it pays better than streaming. And that's kind of the main reason, apart from me finding it very interesting, that I'd be interested in doing it. I would like to not be poor anymore. It would be nice. And when I say poor, of course, everything's relative, but worried about paying rent, even if that means what I get to do is this every day, is it's a stressful life sometimes to be like, okay, well,
Wow, big surprise.
I need my Christmas gigs to come up soon, so I'll be able to afford, 6 months more of rent or something like that. All workers are poor. Yeah, but when I was working retail, I was not as poor as I am as a streamer. I didn't have to supplement my income by doing Uber and Lyft when I was working retail, so If we go 1 nebula jump, we get 7. It's a good deal. I'm not gonna run out of fuel anytime soon. Theoretically, you could wait tables a couple nights a week for extra dough. I could. I could. There's a lot of things I could do. What I'll tell you is, having done many, many different things in my life, that is not the life I want to live. Waiting tables a couple nights a week to be able to afford rent to keep streaming is not the life I'm looking for. Okay. Please don't dodge. Fuck. I think this guy gets out now. That came out harsher than what you intended. You'll say that demand for sound guys is high. There are a lot of overlap if you work in a church setting. Okay, well, I'm not planning on working in a church setting either. But good to know. I appreciate you giving me knowledge. I have a feeling I was harsher, my response, than how you said it, but it sounded like you were telling me I learned to read. It's what it sounded like. It's probably what you weren't saying, but that's just what it came across as to me. Studio backend stuff is where it's at. You do mostly Broadway theater stuff. You never want to be present during an actual performance. It's too crazy. Servers where I work can walk out with $200 after a 6-hour shift. And I can't tell if you think that's good or bad. And what I don't think a lot of people understand is, to me, this gig that I'm doing a week from Friday, I think I'll be in total be paid $300, and I will have done 6 to 8 rehearsals that are 3 to 5 hours long. Do the math. Still, let's lowball it. That I put 30 hours into it, and I'm getting paid $300 for that. Was that $10 an hour? That's like the most optimistic for this gig. Now, I bet you for streaming I make half that. That's my guess. That's my guess. Streaming is not good money. Streaming is not good money.
Let me fucking hit him! Come on, man!
I say that to say, if you want to stream, do it because you want to stream, not because you're hoping to get rich. Because you won't. You won't. Streaming is very fun if you play games you enjoy. But you will not make very much money. You'll make no money when you're starting. Is this the cloak ship? This is the cloak ship from Gilboard, that's right. Have a higher chance of getting rich streaming compared to most jobs. Okay. I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with you there. Have you ever looked at the numbers for how many people are even just partner on Twitch versus how many people are streaming? I'm pretty sure it's less than 1% of people who are streaming are even partner. And do you know how many people who are partner are rich? Probably less than 1% of those people. So, how many teachers get rich? 0? Well, I would disagree with that because I don't think that's true. There are some very well-known teachers in acting teachers, singing teachers in LA that I bet you are rich. It also depends on how you define rich. I would have to say that that's true as well. Let's say a millionaire is being rich. I can guarantee you there are voice teachers that teach Celine Dion and Adele who are millionaires. Guarantee you. That's not 0 teachers. It's 1% of 1%. But I just have to disagree with you, Mr. Keese. Celine Dion is washed. Okay, well, whatever your opinions on Celine Dion are, she's rich, and whoever she goes to for voice lessons, and I'll guarantee you she goes to somebody for voice lessons because I've heard stories from her. God damn it, this guy's gonna fucking get out. I have to pay attention. Give me a second. Sorry, I'm trying to go on a rant here, and this shitty fucking Rebel Disruptor is making my life hell. Is this pull a pilot, please? Yes. Okay. But I completely disagree that there are no rich teachers. I bet you the most successful science teachers at Harvard who are doing research on things for NASA are not doing poorly. Now, again, I don't know that they're millionaires, but I would guess there are some six-figure teachers at major universities in the U.S. You lived and worked in Israel for 20 years. There are not so many sound guys to go around. One could end up working all the time, but not well paid because it's for God or whatever. Okay. Yeah, that's another reason I don't want to work for a church. The gig I'm doing, part of the reason I'm getting so paid so little is because it's a volunteer group that I'm a ringer for. Hey, look around. I forgot about this. And that's part of their excuse for not paying their professional things. It's a volunteer group. That's a religious thing. So I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Wasn't there a top 5 occupations of people who are millionaires? I'm sure that's a Google thing you can look up right now. And I doubt teachers are up there. But I also, I don't know if I want to say that. I was going to say I bet there's more teachers that are well off than streamers. I don't know that that's true. Because we all see the most famous, most popular, richest ones in the media. You see Ninja, you see Co-Carnage, you see all those. But the percentage of what that is versus how many people are actually streaming is just so ridiculously low that I don't know. Ramsey had a millionaire survey. The #1 profession was teacher. Really? Our disagreement is on what rich is. Okay. Okay, make your statement, Mr. Keese. You're saying that there are more streamers who are rich who never have to work again compared to teachers who are rich who never have to work again. Is that what you're saying? If that's not, please clarify. Because that does not sound like truth to me. Define rich and define who we're comparing here. On this list, #1 was engineer, and #2 is accountant that has a CPA, #3 was teacher, #4 is engineer, #5 was attorney. That's what you found on the internet. Teachers are on these top paid professions. Well, and part of the problem with this is like how many different types of teacher there are too. So, because there are probably lawyers that are poor, but I'm guessing it's fewer and farther between than there are a number of teachers who are poor. Rand accounting streams when? Right now. Just looked it up. It's not the most scientific survey, but still. Okay. All right, what are we doing here? 359 scrap for this store. What do we got? You should have been an accountant. Both your mom's parents were, huh? Clone Bay, there's pre-igniter for this Vulcan. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's, sell this. Sell pre-ignited Vulcan flak burst laser. I think that's going to be our build. Okay, and I want to get third shield and power next. Really depends on how we define teacher. If a million actors releasing an online masterclass lecture on the internet counts as a teacher, then you're pretty sure there are a lot of rich teachers. Teacher means those working at public schools, not as much. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I don't like the sentence that there are more rich streamers than there are rich teachers. Because in my experience, in my brain, teaching is a profession that's been around so much longer than streamer that there's no possible way that there are even half as many streamers as there are teachers in the world, with how broadly defined teacher can be. And there are a lot of people who are teaching things who make a lot of money. Now, if you're talking about a public school teacher, then I'd still argue with how many streamers there are and how little money most streamers make, that teaching as a profession, on general, still makes you more money than than streaming as a profession does. Are there more rich streamers than there are rich public school teachers? Probably, because I don't know if there are any rich public school teachers. Maybe there are. Do we count superintendents and principals? 'Cause I'm pretty sure there are some schools that pay really well their principals and superintendents. Pretty sure it's like a big deal that, like, especially if we're talking like private schools. Pretty sure it's like a pretty big deal that private schools overpay a lot of their people. I mean, do we call coaches teachers? Because isn't there like all this big debate over like college coaches being paid millions of dollars? I mean, I think there are arguments for there being some very, very, very well-off teachers in the world. In that case, Google is a teacher. No, that's being, I think that's being, what's the word? Pedantic or, disingenuous. That's the word I'm trying to think of. We're talking about humans who get paid to do a job. You'd recommend if you had to do it all over again, you would learn a few computer coding language and be set for life. You would buy Bitcoin and Nvidia if you did it over again. Okay. Probably just doing it as passion, money earned elsewhere. I mean, that's what I'm doing, Jerf Derf, and that's why I'm talking about audio engineering and doing other things, because there's only so much passionate stuff you can do before you realize, if I don't do something that makes me money, my passion gets me nowhere. For sure most rich public school teachers were rich before being a teacher. That's probably true. But again, this probably depends on where you are in the world too, because my knowledge of public school teacher pay is in the US, and in the US, public school teachers are notoriously underpaid. But I have a feeling in Japan that's very different, or different parts of the world that's very different. You know teachers that own their own houses? Most teachers I know own their own houses. Yes. That's better off than the median streamer. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe not most teachers own their own houses. I don't know that that's true. That might be me projecting or making up false positives or something. We have stealth weapons. I forgot that I have this. The reason I'm using Vulcan. I have stealth weapons. I should be using my stealth weapons. Live on campus. I don't know a lot of teachers that live on campus. Even when I was in college, most teachers that I knew had their own houses. The teacher whose retirement ceremony I sang at a couple months ago, after retirement, moved to her second home. She's been working for like 40 years at a junior college in Waco. So she must have made decent enough money if she has a home and after retirement moved to a second home. Or she's married to another guy, has no kids, and he has a job, so they probably are dual income, no kids kind of family. Sorry for the walls of text. It's fine, Archangel. It's fine. You're going to go sit on the couch and watch from afar. All right. Enjoy your watching. All right. We are pre-ignited stealth weapons level 3 cloaking ship. Have I gone meme-tastic enough here? Well, it's probably my fault for derailing the stream into talking about my hopes and dreams. I guess is what I'll say. My hopes and dreams for a life of not being a paycheck-to-paycheck living streamer. Sorry for my hopes and dreams. And we have our pilot, our engines hacked, which is not ideal. My hopes and dreams of doing something I love, and also making enough money to not feel, you know, like most people in America feel, like they don't have enough money to get by. At least teachers get loans approved more easily than a streamer, huh? Probably. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not trying to get any loans anytime soon. I got a car payment, and that's more than I want to be in debt for. The Lawn Morris Junior College. I'm not sure if that's a joke or a real thing. But the junior college I was talking about is McLennan Community College. It's the community college that I went to. Let's see here. Work towards our final weapon would probably be good. Feel bad for Generation Alpha. How effed is it going to be for them when they become adults? Yeah, right. Whoops, I did the wrong thing there. That's why you don't do the weapons threateningly or something. You just attack the ship. Yep. Lon Morris is in Jacksonville. I don't know what that is. It's a cheap Zoltan actually, so it's basically free power. Let's do it. I need you to heal and heal. Sounds like you're making a lawnmower pun when you say Lawn Morris, but I think that might be a real school. Sounds like a lawnmower pun to me. You're an administrator at an NGO, not a big paycheck, but you found your love in painting and relaxing watching salty streamers. Yeah. I don't know what NGO is. What is NGO? And I'm sure while I'm talking about the ideal studio audio engineering gig and you're saying it's all often tedious and not enough money and all that stuff, you're probably thinking, but hey, you get to do the streaming where you're playing games, you get to relax and chill, talk to people. That's just an amazing gig. And it is. And I'm sure both of our jobs have amazing positives and they both have horrible negatives, just like every job that's ever existed. Unless you're a CEO who does no work and gets paid for it. Can you tell I'm jaded by living in America? NGO is a non-government organization. Okay. He's just saying it's washed. Okay. See a lot of young engineers getting NGs getting jobs straight out of college from edu.edu. They work as bouncers, doormen, other door-related professions. Nice. Okay. Do not work for Paycom. Don't worry, never heard of it and don't plan on it. Never heard of it, don't plan on it. Accurate weapons. One thing I will also say in defense of my, talk about trying something new and looking into this audio engineering thing is, I feel like when you're older, You know, when you first go to college, at least when I first went to college, you know why I chose music? Because nothing else looked even vaguely interesting to me. I was not interested in getting a business degree or going to law school or trying to be a doctor. Like, everything sounded hopeful. Hopeful. Awful. I chose music because I liked music. But I didn't know what careers in music I should pursue. I didn't know what the professional world looked like. Now that I've worked in music for, gosh, 18 to 43, 20-something years, I feel like with the knowledge I have now and the experience and people I've met, I feel like if I were pursuing something, I would have a better idea of how to pursue said thing than I did when I was 18 years old, going to college, choosing music because I didn't want to get a business degree. You know, I feel like if I were to try to approach something new, I have better tools to have better success at approaching and succeeding at said thing. You've worked with quite a few NGOs and NPOs while freelancing. They don't pay well. Become a CEO, shareholders is what you're going to tell your kids. Surely they could have a mid-income life. Non-profit, philanthropic organization helping less fortunate people. Well, it sounds like a very good thing to be doing. So good on whoever's doing that in chat. That's Archangel or somebody else. Good on you. Should I buy a clone bear right now? Nah. I remember when going to college when I was 18, there were a couple of dudes that were 30s and 40s, and we were always like, oh man, these crazy old people coming to college. What, do they not know what they're doing in life? And now I look back and I think, they probably know exactly what they were doing. They were like, I hated my life in retail. I'm going to go to school and get a music degree and teach because that's what I want to do. I feel like going back to college as an older person is, or going back and learning something new that you've been interested in a long time is probably a really good way to make your life better. If I could choose my degree again, what would I choose? I would probably do music, but I would probably do a minor in this thing that I'm talking about doing, audio engineering. Because so much of my favorite stuff that I've done as a musician has involved recording and producing those recordings in a way that other people can experience. I so wish I had learned how to do something that I don't know if was really offered at my school, and it might have been, I just didn't know about it, because when you go into school for a music degree, at least for a classical music degree, you don't learn, at least not at the school I was at, you don't learn about music technology. And I wish I had learned music technology. Music production, recording, just all the stuff that I'm talking about right now. No shame in that, old college goers, that's right. As a 30 plus year old in your final year working through a Bachelor of Science, you can agree with your assertion. One of my friends who sings in my Christmas caroling group is working on a Bachelor's in Divinity, and I've known him working on that since I moved to Dallas 11 or 12 years ago. They have been working on their Bachelor's of Divinity for that long. I don't know how it takes that long to get a Bachelor's in maybe it's a Master's in Divinity. Maybe that's what it is. But it is, they want to be a preacher, and they've been in it for the last 11 to 12 years I've known them. TF is Divinity. That's if you're going to, be a church person. If you want to be a person who preaches or is a music minister, that kind of thing, I believe is what that is. No, not how to become enlightened, how to run a church, how to be a spiritual advisor. They probably do it part-time. Probably, yes. It's my guess. I don't know. Because I'm not super close to them. I just, you know, every Christmas season talk to them a bunch because they're a friend of mine. But I have a lot of friends that I only see.
Damn it, game! What the actual fuck?
You know, 3 months in a year because that's when we sing together for Christmas caroling. Okay, I'm just gonna get hit by this missile. I won't be able to stop it. It's fine. Hopefully it's not very much damage. This guy is in my weapons room. I cannot allow that. Okay. No hacking weapons allowed. Okay. Going to seminary and getting degrees in divinity is a big thing in Texas. It's called the Bible Belt for a reason. There are a lot of schools for becoming a preacher in this part of the world, that's for sure. You know, Masters in Divinity is apparently a degree that people get. Chat needs to sing Christmas songs with Rand this year. I mean, we did the Christmas caroling last year, and I think I'm going to do it again this year. Probably in October, I'll start looking to do the, you know, open up the donations for Christmas caroling stream again like I did last year. It seemed pretty fun. And we'll probably have new people who'd be interested in enjoying that. But it's hard to sing when you're in chat. Maybe we can do something like deck the halls and have chat go fa la 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 every time we do that part or something. Just get chat to spam. That's what we do with our live performances where we want them to sing along. We do deck the halls so because everybody knows la 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 la. I think everybody knows that. I'm not using my level 3 cloaking enough.
Just enough for me to do 0 fucking damage.
Let me get your cloaking down. That would be nice. Yes, good. Okay, get you and you in there. You've been hyped for next Christmas stream for the last 9 months. Nice. I fixed the... Oh! The Zoltan ran through cloaking and ruined his cloaking. Beautiful. A church won't hire a person unless they're educated in divinity. Well, no. Depends on what they're hiring that person. You don't have to have a bachelor's in divinity to be a cleaning person. But if you want to be a preacher, yeah, you probably have to have gone to seminary. That's what most preachers that I know who are learning have to do. They go to something called seminary. So that's I don't have a lot of knowledge on it because of course I've never done it, but I have a friend who is a singer who has started seminary to be I think she wants to be a music minister, I think is what she's trying to do, so she's going to seminary for that. Yep, seminary. Look it up. Just Google it. You're asking me a lot of questions. Just Google it. Google seminary. It's basically college for preachers. Basically, that's college for preachers is what seminary is. And you might think, why would you need college for that? Well, don't ask me. I'm not a preacher. What if Rand went to audio school, then did audio work for a seminary? That would be weird. But hey, if they paid me, I'd do it. Definitely secret parties happening at seminary. Okay, sure. That reminds me of the Friends episode where Ross goes on sabbatical and he says to Joey something like, "Oh, give me a break, I'm on sabbatical." And Joey's like, "Whoa! You don't have to get all religious on me." I always thought that was really funny. As far as I know, there are different schools for fathers, Catholic, and preachers, Protestant. Yeah, I'm sure there are. The one that I know most about, because the church that I sing in as a Methodist church, is Southern Methodist Church in Dallas, has seminary called something seminary. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like a really famous one. What about bishops? It's the same. It's the Catholic Church. I'm sure they have. I'm sure Catholic Church has their own schools for being a preacher. One of the gigs I did once time when I went to Texarkana, I was singing for a church where they were good deal. Ordaining, I think is the word, new preachers or something like that. So there's all sorts of stuff like that. And again, I don't want to talk about religious or political stuff, so I'm just giving you facts and no judgment on anything anybody does. This is just stuff that I've heard and learned about. So this is just factual knowledge I'm telling you all that I know about some of this stuff. I don't know anything about that. Meow, you don't. This is the one where we get the free stuff in the nebula. There's another one where you threaten with your weapons and they don't give you a fight that I got earlier. Okay. Half power, not so good here. This. Is that triple offensive drones? Holy crap. Just double, okay. Let's clove this. Double beam drones, not too bad. That's the thing about India. You become a guru by doing pretty much anything and don't need an education. Yeah. Learn by doing, I guess, rather than being taught. I only got 3 jumps, so I gotta go 1, 2, 3, unless I'm gonna dive. I don't really want to dive here. Have ever done Beam Master viewership? Have we had Beam Master viewership? Probably. There's probably been a Beam Master viewership. I, off the top of my head, don't remember what that looked like. But I'm sure we've had some viewership that was all about beams. Can't imagine that was not a thing with how many ships we've done over the years.
Now you need to be a good doge. You need to stop being a bad doge.
I don't want to have to use my hacking drones, but I guess I will. Didn't really need to. And I don't want to bench you guys. Okay. Beautiful. Alright, 176 scrap. There's a store. Don't really care about diving. We got Vulcan Flak Burst on this cloaking ship from Gilboard. Excuse me. taken us a while, but we were finally using this cloaking plus stealth weapons, or cloaking level 3 plus stealth weapons build, so. Did this guy never have this heavy laser 2 online? That seems weird. There's a caste system in India. The guru is both the lowest and highest caste at the same time. Okay. I've never been to India, and it's probably one of the places in the world I have one of the least desires to go to. No offense to anybody who lives in India. It just has always... I see the traffic in India and the weather, and I'm like, that looks terrifying. I saw a Reddit post of an Indian intersection yesterday, and I thought I would die if I had to try to get through there. Just people like... Just so many people trying to force their way through on motorcycles and small cars. I'm like, that looks like a death trap. Like a literal, actual death trap. You would die trying to get your car through that intersection if you didn't live there and know how the roads worked. And it also smells like an open sewer. Okay. How am I going to do this? Just attack weapons. Okay, let's kill these guys. Do I get there in time? Yes. Is that speaking from experience or just what you've heard?
Oh, come on, man.
Humidity plus heat would kill you. It's very cool at the same time, though, because you can do anything you want. Nobody cares. Oh my god. Yeah. That doesn't sound cool at all. It sounds like you'll see people doing ridiculous stuff, like pooping on the street corner or something. It's like, that's not cool. That's gross. I don't, unlimited freedom is not freedom. It is chaos. Especially when humans are involved. Is India like Grand Theft Auto? Maybe it is. People just take other people's cars. I don't know. Cows roam the streets, people sleeping and pissing everywhere, street food looks weird, all of it, yeah. Place I would like to visit that I've never been on that side of the world would be places like South Korea, Seoul. I'm sure it's like the gaming capital of the world. Japan, I've heard, is really cool to visit. I feel like the Philippines would be cool to visit. Where the high stakes are what you can eat and keep down the longest. That sounds like a nightmare. My stomach, with the issues I've had over the last few years, feels like I would probably die if I tried to eat food there. If you hug a Zoltan, do you get zapped or nothing happens? I have no idea. Never hugged one. Oh, are you in South Korea, HCD? Are you in Seoul? You legit have gaming schools. Well, I think the US is trying to kind of do that, because there are like League of Legends collegiate leagues. But it sounds like there are actual, which is kind of like what it sounds like you are describing, but yours just sounds like maybe it's not even connected to a school. It's just actual, like I say, like a, not like a college, but like a, I don't know, how does it work? Is it like a college, or is it like a separate, like a trade school, or like a business or something? Seminary for gaming. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. It's called gaming seminary. It's the term. It's a real thing. All right. Last value points right there. Okay. It's a novelty. It's definitely a thing. Okay, so it sounds like it's new there. Not like something that's been around forever or anything yet. Well, it's funny to me. People who live in the U.S., we don't think of ourselves as foreigners. In South Korea, anybody who is competing is called a foreigner. Like if you're a European or American playing StarCraft or League of Legends, you are considered a foreigner in the scene. And I live in Texas, and this group that I'm doing some singing with is a Korean, like, church group that I'm singing with. And they say all the people who are non-Koreans who are singing a song are the foreigners singing with them. And it's always just, it's funny to me because I'm like, I've lived here for my whole life. Am I the foreigner? English is my first language, but I guess in this group I am the foreigner. It's not really an official form of school. It's more like an extracurricular, but they're institutions and people are paying money for it. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. You want to go to FTL University. Sadly, the only place for that is edu.edu, and that's in the NG Galaxy. Don't think we have transportation there yet. Okay, 27 scrap. I definitely want to crew kill phase 1, if possible. All but one, if we can. You're back at the perfect time. Welcome back, Gilboard. What is he hacking? Piloting off the edge of the screen. Okay, that's awkward. Definitely don't want to get drone control on this ship. This ship, the piloting is in the worst possible place I've ever seen for, whatchamacallit, the defense drone bug.
What the hell?
95%, and I get a fucking double fire single missile. Fuck you, FTL. Okay. Okay. F you, FTL. That's all I got to say about that. The GSL is so big it's on TV and being hosted by famous former game legends. Yeah. It's crazy to me how mainstream gaming is in Korea. That is foreign to me. That's super cool, but it's also super just outside my experience of gaming in the US. Alright, so maybe I delay this and see what kind of crew kills we can get here. You all might think it's funny when I go mute, but this means that my my audio USB device is breaking, and I'm gonna have to get another one. Damn it! My Focusrite Scarlett audio USB, the 48 volt phantom power is breaking. So anytime it goes mute, you might think it's funny, but it means I'm gonna have to shell out some more money to fix this crap. Ah, so frustrating. That sucks, man. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know how a power source starts just turning on and off for no reason. Hey, I think we have some audio engineers around. Maybe you can tell me. Archangel, you got any experience? You know why a USB audio source with phantom power would just randomly start turning off? Yes, rip audio, rip audio. Yes, where's my audio engineers in the chat? Help me out here. I actually don't want to kill that guy, so let's not start a fire in there. Can't mind control him though. Okay. At 33 scrap. I can get nothing. Okay. I have to go to edu.edu to find out. Probably. Probably. Sounds about right. I wonder if it's like overloading or something, because I'm using a microphone that uses a... My dad gave me a little booster to give it a little extra power, but it shouldn't flow back into the thing. I don't know. I don't know. It's why I want to go to audio engineering school, so I understand how this crap works better. I want to know how it works better. No, that's not going to work anyway.
Doge?
Fucking Dodges.
No, you need to be a good Doge. You need to stop being a bad
that happened
Doge.
super early. This is fine. This is fine. Level 3 cloaking, we're good. Stop killing my damn drones. Stupid game. I get missiles down. I think the only damage we took this boss fight was a missile that hit us while we had 95% dodge that started a double fire. GG cookie time. The cloak ship from Gilboard, aka the Watcher, or what did you call it? The file name? The Watcher. Really strong ship with the starting weapons and level 3 cloaking and shields. Really strong. Flagship dies to an evil look. There we go. Check that score. 59.74. Two very good runs so far. One over 6K, one almost 6K. So the next ship I play is going to have to use the latest version of hyperspace. So I think I'm going to start with Slow Riders Insurrection Plus, because if we have a really long run, I'm not going to get a fourth run in. If it's short enough, maybe I can get a Mr. Key ship in that will hopefully use the same version of hyperspace, and I won't have to swap out mods. But before we do that, I'm going to take my second break of the day. Y'all feel free to grab a drink, grab a snack. Thank you to Gilboard for a fun ship. Y'all enjoy chair or ad time, and I'll be back in just a bit, my friends.